Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Time Walk with me. I am the Time Walker, and this deck will require its pilot to ensure that everyone else at the table is okay with them using it. It is a rather pricey deck, so if you want to make it, you'll have to proxy some things, especially the Commander. The Commander is 1996 World Champion. This card is so rare, the only way for a card to be more rare is for it to not exist. Only one of it exists, and it was awarded to Tom Chanfeng for winning the 1996 World Championship, hence its name. The only way to actually use this card is to proxy it. It's also not legal in Commander, though that's silly because it's basically impossible to get, but whatever. This creature is a legendary human wizard, according to the errata. It costs Wooburg to cast, that's one mana of every color, and it has Shroud, which means it can't be the target of spells or abilities. This makes it a lot harder to deal with than most commanders, but it also means that you can't target it either. This presents some unique challenges that I've found an interesting solution to, as you'll see. Its third ability won't come into play since it will be in your command zone, but if it somehow finds its way into your library, you can discard your hand to search your library for it, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle, of course. It's the only card that I know of with an activated ability that you activate from the library. Maybe that's why it's banned. The best thing about this card is that its power and toughness are equal to the life total of target opponent. That means that as long as one of your opponents has 21 or more life, this is a one-hit kill commander. So the goal of this deck is to get him through your opponent's defenses. Though I can't target 1996 World Champion, he can still benefit from global effects, so I've piled a whole bunch of them into here, including Primal Rage. I mostly want to make sure that the World Champion got Trample and Flying, so this is one of a few cards in this deck that gives him Trample. Kenra Charioteer. Here's another. Plus it's a 3/3 creature. Overwhelming Stampede. This makes all your creatures into ridiculously huge beaters. If it doesn't win you the game, then you're probably playing against a blue deck. Maze Sentinel. Giving the champion vigilance helps ensure that you won't be left open while you're taking someone out. Maze Glider. Flying creatures are very hard to block. Maze Abomination. If the champion has trample, this will really clinch your victory. Death Touch means that it only takes 1 damage from the creature to destroy another creature, so no matter how it's blocked, only 1 damage will be blocked per blocker and the rest will trample through. If the champion is at 40/40, it will take 20 creatures to avoid instant death against a trampling, death-touching champion. Maze Rusher. Assume that you will be the biggest threat at the table and that your opponents will stop at nothing to keep the champion in the command zone. Giving him haste will really put them on the defensive. Maze Behemoth. This gives the champion trample. Enough said. Akroma's Will. This is a great finisher in this deck. Levitation. This gives the champion flying. Angelic Guardian. This helps protect the champion from creatures that have Death Touch. Archetype of Imagination. This gives the champion flying and takes flying away from all your opponent's creatures, rendering it unblockable. Bastion Protector. This protects the champion from board wipes. Well, from one board wipe anyway. Oran Frostfang. Here's another card that gives the champion Death Touch. Intimidation. You know that 40/40 commander that can keep getting recast from the command zone if it's somehow killed? Well, now it's intimidating, meaning it can only be blocked by artifact and black creatures. Brawn. This gives the champion trample as long as it's dead and you control a forest. Deep Channel Mentor. Because it's all colors, the champion is a blue creature, so this makes it unblockable. Akroma's Memorial. This gives the champion a whole bunch of cool abilities. Bond of Discipline. This clears your path to remove a player from the game and to at least double your life total. If you can somehow get multiple combat steps during the turn you play this, you can remove more than one opponent. Counterspell. Terror. Dark Banishing. Generous Gift. Cancel. Path to Exile. Swords to Plowshares. Declaration of Naught. With this card, you can obnoxiously name an opponent's commander and keep it off the board, or name your least favorite board wipe and keep your commander safe. Death Sprout. This serves as both creature removal and ramp. I put in as much as I could to ensure that you'll have the colors of mana that you need to cast and recast the champion. Joiner Adept. This makes your lands tap for any color. Bard class. This makes the champion cheaper to cast by 1 green and 1 red mana. Abundance. Hey, it's my favorite green enchantment. It gives you your choice of a land or a non-land whenever you draw. Explosive Vegetation. Crop Rotation. Reap and Sow. Elfheim Sanctuary. This is kinda like Abundance, but it's better in some ways and worse in others. It only activates once during your upkeep, allowing you to search your library for any basic land you want, reveal it, and put it into your hand. But if you don't need a basic land, you're just drawing as normal, then you get what you get. Given how few basic lands are in this deck, I might replace this with something. Cultivate. Kodama's Reach. Commander Sphere. Elven Chorus. This turns all your creatures into mana dorks that can tap for a mana of any color. That's really nice in a 5-color deck. Beneath the Sands. Sylvan Scrying. Tempt with Discovery. This is cool because it lets you look for any land, not just a basic. It also lets your opponents get any land from their deck, but if they do, you get even more lands. Soul Ring. Arcane Signet. Inga and Essica. This gives your creatures vigilance and makes them into mana dorks. And if you used a lot of mana from creatures to cast a spell, you get to draw a card. Deep Reconnaissance. Chromatic Lantern. This is like Joiner Adept, but it's an artifact and it taps for a mana of any color in addition to giving your lands the ability to do that. Prismatic Omen. This gives your lands the ability to tap for any color by making them every basic land type. It has a lot of combo potential in some decks, but here it just lets you get the colors of mana you need, and I think that's enough. Cryptolith Rite. This also makes your creatures into mana producers. Circuitous Route. Conflux. If you've had some bad luck and you haven't drawn anything that can give the champion trample or flying, this can get you what you need to do that. Combat Celebrant. Like I said before, multiple combats can mean a quick victory for you by knocking out multiple opponents in one turn. Ambitious Dragonborn. If you play this while you have a 40-40 champion, it will be a 40-40 Dragon Barbarian. Owlbear Shepherd. I think there's a good chance the champion will have power greater than 8. Morophon the Boundless. Since the champion is a human wizard, you can choose either of those types to make casting it free with this creature out. Monstrous Onslaught. You can pretty much wipe the board with this, dealing damage equal to the champion's power among any number of target creatures. Eerie Interlude. I put this in here just in case someone gains a bunch of life after I cast the champion, so I can have a 50-50 instead of a 40-40. Arnie Brokenbrow. This guy can become as strong as the champion when he attacks. Last March of the Ents. With this, you can draw up to 40 cards or more, or less I suppose, and then put all the creature cards in your hand onto the battlefield. Displace. This is here for the same reason as Eerie Interlude. Miming Slime. This makes a green ooze that's as big as the champion. I went all out with the lands in this deck, almost no consideration for budget. I put in all the triomes and all the lands that produce 2 different colors of mana and come into play untapped as long as you have more than one opponent. Because of that, there are very few basic lands in the deck. So we got plains, islands, swamps, mountains, forest, more forests than anything else. Command Tower, Path of Ancestry, Vivid Meadow, Vivid Creek, Vivid Marsh, Vivid Crag, and Vivid Grove. Bountiful Promenade, or Promenade, Luxury Suite, Morphic Pool, Sea of Clouds, Spire Garden, Rejuvenating Springs, Spectator Seating, Training Center, Undergrowth Stadium, Vault of Champions, and the Triomes, Indatha, Raugrin, Sevai, Zagoth, and Ketria. So there we have it. That is my 1996 World Champion deck. Can't be targeted, so I just gave him abilities by giving them to all the creatures I control. What do you think of that? Give me your thoughts in the comment section now.